Welcome back. An Arkansas sheriff's deputy was killed. A police chief injured yesterday. Both responding to a disturbance call. The suspect was taken into custody. And here's a sobering statistic. July was the deadliest month for law enforcement in 2016. Gunfire claiming 12 of the 20 officers killed in the line of duty last month. This is according to the officers' down memorial page. This figure includes the officers killed in Dallas and Baton Rouge. These tragedies prompted the Frisco, Texas Police Department to spend over $1 million on tactical gear and equipment to protect officers. I want to bring in John Bruce of Frisco Police Department right now. Chief Bruce, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. Glad to be here.
Why these sobering numbers? What do you attribute this really downturn in terms of impact on police officers?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with society in itself is just are upset. Their tempers are flaring, and they just are taking it out on us, finally.
So your thoughts on this latest officer being killed in the line of duty? You're saying it's because just people are upset and things have flared up, and so they just, hit back at police?
Mental health is a big issue with all of this. It ties it together. I don't know the circumstances of the case in Arkansas, whether or not the subject had any type of previous PTSD or other mental health issues.
What kind of gear are you buying? Tell us where the investment is going to better or best protect your officers.
What we are buying are external wear heavy armor, as it's called. It's just extra steel plates that go on the outside of their uniform. In addition, tactical helmets that are ballistic. It'll hopefully stop a rifle round, and both of these are designed to stop rifle rounds. Additionally, we're looking at upgrading our patrol rifle program, and where we're issuing the rifles as opposed to officers having to buy their own equipment. Where
does the money come from to invest in these new things?
Several of these items we're looking at savings from the current fiscal year, our seizure funds, and then the rest of it we've asked for in our budget.
Here's Shelby Halliday from the Journal.
Good morning, Chief Bruce. I have a question for you. It struck me when I was covering the RNC and the DNC that the police chiefs said they didn't want to use this full body armor unless they absolutely had to, because sometimes it helps escalate violence. It escalates tensions. Are these things that you just outlined, will that be worn all the time, or do you sort of subscribe to similar thought that it should only be worn when necessary?
No, it's absolutely not going to be worn all of the time. It is strictly for when officers come under fire or when they know in advance that they are going into a tactical situation.
Chief Bruce, one of the things that we saw in particular with all the writing that really began, if you go back to Ferguson, is that many police departments, in particular in Baltimore, really took the line of not combating back against protesters, putting themselves in danger, but trying to kind of calm nerves. If something were to happen in Frisco, do you have that kind of plan in place where your officers know how to combat a violent protest? Because it seems to be happening more and more across the country.
I believe that we are prepared. Of course, you just never know. But we do a lot of de-escalation training and techniques in order to talk to folks.
So a lot of training in terms of new training for your police officers?
We have increased that training, but we have been doing this type of training all along for years.
Chief Bruce, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll see you soon. Chief John Bruce there. Still